Travelers on the Omnibus occasionally touches on mature subject matter with mature language. As such, the audience discretion is advised. Hey everybody, welcome to a very special episode of Travelers on the Omnibus, a field trip through nerd and pop culture. Last episode, we had some material that ended up having to get cut for time, but we felt very passionate about it, and we wanted to present it to you guys. One, to see if it's something you'd like us to explore further down the line, and two, to kind of bring in a new format for stuff that we end up cutting for time. It's called our Omnibus Rest Stop. This week, our rest stop takes us to the world of Warhammer, specifically Warhammer Age of Sigmar, but we do talk a little bit about Warhammer 40k, which, if you did not know, are miniatures war games from the Games Workshop. It's something that we've been getting more and more passionate about lately. Myself and Brady are playing a lot more, but we're trying to get Ethan and Jody also into playing it. So I think that's what kind of kept the conversation kind of rolling the way it is in our usual ramble and tangent way. So we're going to cut right now to the episode, and it starts out with me being completely senile. So enjoy that. Yeah. Warhammer 40k. I finally got to play a 2,000 point game with my Stormcast Eternals with our friend John Sheldon.
You mean Age of Sigmar. Or you mean Space Marines.
No, I meant...
You said 40K, but 40K, you said Stormcast Eternals.
I have 40K on the brain, I think, because the boards are right down there. So, yeah, my apologies. Thank you for catching that. Jesus Christ, Jay.
Yeah, I saved you an email.
Yeah, no. Now I'm getting 10 emails. It's like we're really concerned for your well-being.
The combat skirmish game.
I don't know.
We did full on Age of Sigmar.
They don't have like a combat patrol thing.
Right,
like
but 40K does, right?
Yeah, but 40K you can just get the combat patrol.
Yeah,
right.
Or the boarding patrol, and you can do those, those rules too.
The way that they get you with that is it gets boring playing the same combat patrol, so you think, I'll just buy another combat patrol. Because I'm doing that. I'm like, I'll buy this Eldar combat patrol. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but...
There you go.
But I'm very close to it.
There you go. Man.
So that's how they get you on that one.
They figured out the Lay's potato chip way of doing this to you. Now I'll try sour cream and onion. Now I'll try barbecue.
Yeah.
Now what they're going to do for me is they're going to suck me in with lore.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
I mean, that's how most people get into 40K.
You're gonna be the lucky one because we're going to have, like, between three of us, we're going to have, like, 8 armies. And just pick one.
We watched, like, 2 hours of animated stuff from the Warhammer Plus thing, and it's only $5 a month, so I'm thinking about getting it just to watch all the animated shit.
I was thinking about getting it,
and
too.
Then
the only thing that stopped me is that it's not, as far as I can see, it's not on PlayStation, and that's the main way that I watch stuff, and I didn't feel like casting anything.
Well, PlayStation has a web browser. Now, the video may or may not work.
I've always had a problem with the browser, at least on my PS4.
But there's a website I go to watch anime legally that I can watch through without an app on PlayStation.
Censored.
Yeah, just in case. JIC on that one. JIC on that one.
They're not going to know, but I know, and I also have my own source.
Yeah. Or I may just, get rid of the censored sound, and then everybody will
watch cartoonsonline.com or .org or .io. I don't know.
Censored.
There's a spit take.
That one was closer.
You're the only one that hasn't done it.
Censored.
Yeah, don't just do it. Wait for an appropriate time.
Censored.
You've done it
Censored.
before?
Yeah, but not here.
You realize I have to...
Censored.
Oh my God, this is a bad day
You're
for me.
the one who's doing that.
Yeah, I know. No,
This is a self-imposed thing.
I'm not looking at Ethan. I'm looking at my reflection in my computer, and I'm trying to tell myself
self-imposed thing. Okay.
Have you done it
Censored.
before?
Yes.
So you played Age of Sigmar.
Yes, a 2,000 point game. Of
2,000 point game.
With my
Great.
Stormcast Eternals, which is the first time I've been able to do that because I finally was able to put my Fulminators on the field, which is, for the most part, my 1,000 point lists have been able to take hits but not really like damage anything in return.
You said Fulminator?
Yeah, Fulminators.
So I'm gonna name you a magic card real quick, and I want you to tell me what it does.
Fulminator Mage?
Oh, shit!
He knows!
God damn it.
I'm well
Brady,
aware of it.
Answer this question.
I
He's
can't
literally
tell
not
you
going to
anything.
know.
No context.
I have no context.
He's
for
got
Magic.
negative context.
Yes.
So I played a 2,000 point Age of Sigmar game with my Stormcast Eternals. It's the first time I've actually had things that can actually do damage. Because I had and I also have 2 squads of Vanguard Raptors with the long strike bows. And for people who are not going to understand this, I'll explain a little bit because I don't want to get too much in the weeds on this one. But round 1, John scored 3 points. We played the scenario
Was he playing orcs?
Yeah, he was playing orcs, 2 Maw Crushes, and everything else was Gorgruntas, which are just giant pigs with giant orcs on top of them. And First round, he scored 3 points because we played the one where the quadrants are the objective. And he got a whole bunch of things in on me. He got one of the Maw Crushes that wasn't his general and like 2 squads of Gorgruntas in there. But with the exception of hitting my Knight Incanter, which for this was kind of a useless option because he had no wizards at all. So there's no... The big thing about a Knight Incanter is he can cancel one spell just like that. He can just go, boom, you don't have it. He hit that wall... He did a good amount of damage, but because I'm on an objective with my Liberators, and because they're in enemy territory and they're on an objective, they get to roll. They get to roll a D6, and on a 4+, I do D3 mortal wounds to them.
Oh, okay.
So there's also that. Also, I packed one of my Vanguard teams right behind one of my squads of Liberators. I got charged, so they were in range for Unleash Hell, and I did like 6 damage. Like I wiped out an entire pig off of that. That was gross. And then when my turn came around, the Fulminators, I finally got to use them. I got him in on a charge on his Maw Crusher General, and I did 25 damage to it.
Oof.
That it only has 18 damage, and it was just immediately deleted. And then between the other Raptors, I was able to kill the other Maw Crusher, and John was like, "No, that was fun," and we just kind of ended it right there.
Yeah, John has a problem with he feels like he can't do it, so he quits.
Yeah,
he did that with their combat, and I can say this because I'm pretty certain that he's not listening. And if you know that he listens, cut this. But
or just don't.
We played the combat patrol that last Thursday, and I was up on models, but like he wasn't like completely out of it, and he was just like, "Nah, you got it." And I was like, "Well, you can still." And he was like, "I can't do anything." I was like, "Well, you could move this squad who has like one of your heavy hitters and move into here and take that spot from me because you're gonna kill that guy." Because you could move, because there was a wall in the way, but you could move and then charge. And he was like, "Nah, I can't do anything." And I was like, "Sure, whatever. I'm not going to argue with you. If you want to quit, it's fine."
Yeah,
I'm not.
He had lost a half of his army in the first turn, and he had the rest of his stuff was enough spread out because he was trying to take all the objectives, which again were whole corners of the map. I probably would have had him wiped in 3 turns.
Yeah,
because his first charge went okay. He forgot to do his Monstrous Rampage with the Maw Crusher, which adds more wounds because of a statistic that model has called Destructive Bulk, and he didn't do it. He didn't utilize a lot of stuff he had it to his availability, and then just again, I was just able to land like just really, really good charges and really good hit. Well, though that 25 damage, which is just inside the average of that full squad with 1 in reinforcement being able to do. Like, I've seen battle reports where a squad of 4 Fulminators on the charge took out an entire giant, and there were 35 wounds.
Is the objectives like the super secret tech of advancing your board state?
It's how you get. It's for the most part, it's how you get points.
So how much more aware do you need to be of your opponent's objectives and tactics compared to what you can do and what you think you should be doing?
It depends on the map. I'm of the opinion right now, as the game is in this. Now we are getting a new General's Handbook in like about a week or 2, so that might change it up. They've already
it should be coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, they're already changing up in that the focus used to be on no name, just regular champions, kind of having getting you more objective points from that to wizard champions. So that's gonna change the meta a lot. Like my list right now has 2 mages. I may try to either swap it to one very big mage or just a bunch of smaller mages.
Well, it's still like the non-named less than 9 wounds wizards. Okay. So they get an extra choice of spells, and one of the spells is really, really good. Yeah. Because you roll a D3, and then in whatever in range you you can change either the 2 hit, whatever you roll, you can change that to the 2 hit, the 2 wound, or the rend. Okay. So if you roll the 3, you turn it to the rend. If you roll the 1 or the 2, hey, now these things. It depends on what you want. If you want, hitting. If you need the wound can be. But the 2 hit, that's usually a little bit better in Age of Sigmar anyway.
Generally, as far as scoring points off of the map, it has been about objectives. Taking objectives quickly and being able to hold them. If you have an army that can do that, your armies typically have been performing better in the last at least 2 seasons worth of Age of Sigmar. Again, this one, because it hasn't happened yet, but I feel it will follow a similar vein as far as that goes. And then you also have battle tactics for your group and battle tactics that come from the map pack.
Yeah.
And if you complete those are bonus points. And then you have an overall grand strategy that you're trying to enact throughout the entirety of the game. And if you do, and if you complete it by the end of the game, that's also worth a number of points.
Yeah.
So I think the max points you can get in the game,
It's usually 5 a round.
it's 25. It's 25 for a 5-round game, and then 3 more if you get
Yeah.
so for 28 points.
Yeah.
That's your max point
And
level.
that's just AOS. That's just
Age of
yeah.
Sigmar. Yeah.
40K.
40K. You're just wiping out. You're just trying to wipe out, right?
No, 40K is also objectives.
Uh-huh.
The way the game works, it's a little bit different. 40K tends to lean more towards ranged stuff, whereas Age of Sigmar is more melee focused. And Age of Sigmar also has more of this trading pieces because it's not as hard to wipe out something.
So you're wanting to like trade up.
Yeah, you're usually wanting to trade up. Or at least buff your stuff up to where it can hold out. Some armies want to do that.
You want to like
some
2
want to
for 1
trade
your
up.
opponent.
Not to bring up the Big Bang Theory, but this is the first time I ever heard this particularly was on the Big Bang Theory. It's rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock, where you have a bunch of units that counter other units but are countered by other units.
Right.
And your main strategy is to play to meta and make sure you have more of the things that can counter and are not countered. Whereas the main tactics playing against each individual army you face is getting your countering units to face off more with the things that they counter and avoiding the other way around. I will say that the map that we got for that heavily favored me because everything is an objective, which I have my subgroup for my Stormcast is Hammers of Sigmar. Hammers of Sigmar units get 6+ ward saves whenever they're inside, when they're within 6 inches of an objective, and there's never a time where they're not 6 inches from an objective because the board is the objective,
Right.
Just
Yeah.
in 4 quadrants. So that hurt him there. And then also I ran Liberators, which are the most Madagascar vanilla unit that the Stormcast Eternals have. But one of their things is at the end of a combat, if they're still within 3 inches of an enemy unit and they're on an objective or they're defending an objective, they get to roll to do more damage to that person. So typically orcs get in hard and they can just weather the storm because of how tough they are. Stormcast do that as well, but in this particular instance, they are even further more damaging even after the fact. So it was a match that he was kind of going into on an off foot. Truthfully, in my opinion, he should have given me first turn because I could not charge him off the first turn. So I would only be moving to the outskirts, and then he picks a side that he wants to maybe kind of wipe through on. I think his strategy was bad. The tactics, once he got into it, I think was very fine. Engage as much as you can because when he's playing Big Wall, you want to get the most amount of fighting going on because that's where they generate a lot of their momentum. But I think he should have focused on one side rather than trying to spread out and then just kind of collapse the board from there. Whereas with me, I kind of wanted to do the same strategy he did, but because I get to go second and his stuff is now closer, it's easier for me to do that.
Yeah, and so in 40K, when you roll off, whoever wins that has to take the first turn, and you just alternate turns all the way through. But in Age of Sigmar, after each battle round, which is your turn, opponent's turn, then you roll off to see who gets the next turn. Ties go to whoever went later in the turn, which could lead to a double turn. So you have to be very careful about that. That's why generally is usually best to go second in when if you have the choice of it. That's why a lot of people take what were called battalions, which gives you the ability, which one of them, the main one, gives you an ability to make your army, everything that's in that battalion drops at one time. Because who gets to decide who goes first is whoever gets set up first. So you have to either always plan for, setting yourself for not a terrible position if you don't get the double turn, or you want to, work towards that double turn. But it's always a die roll, like you don't know.
Right.
So it can be very easy, sometimes that can be, game winning. We're not high level players, so if you're not, so we're not as great at planning for that. Which is why, like, letting Jay go second, I would have taken second probably. Usually there are some times where it's possible that going first is actually better because you do get like your buffs off and everything like that. But oftentimes, like if you're going first, you kind of want to just pick, hey, I'm going to go second, because that way you get to have the chance to double turn if possible, and especially if things are set up such that you know that they can't really get to you on that first turn.
A Be'lakor-led Slaves to Darkness team, I would want to go first, because then I fire off Be'lakor's ability, and then even if I win the roll off, and then I will defer to them on the second round to keep that buff on that one powerful unit.
Oh yeah.
A lot of times is going to throw your army.
It's not always a thing, but it's generally like
there are exceptions. And
yeah.
I'm mentioning exception there, but yeah, if in a game where getting to hit first in combat, in hand-to-hand combat, is important, you don't want to be the one that has to charge it. Now, again, I have to say for John, he got 3 units from the start directly into combat. The best thing about that happened there was he missed a rule that I don't think it would cost him the game, but I think we would have gone past round 1 if he had remembered to do his Monstrous Rampage with Giant Boy. But the other part is the fact that you're in close with it. He wanted to pull my Fulminators into combat with one of his Gore Grunter units. I'm like, are you sure you want to do that? Because even not on the charge, they do 3 damage for everything they hit with for their main weapons. But even then, their mounts still get attacks, and those are still 2 damage apiece, and they're 3 attacks. So you have a chance of, in that unit, getting 12 damage just off of that, which is 2 pigs.
That's not something you want to aggro.
And he's already locked in with one of my other units too. And so yeah, like, do you really want to pull that in? Like, they're not going to fight it full form, but they're still fighting really hard. So yeah, again, I think strategy wise, he didn't see what the board was, but tactics wise, I think getting in on as much as he could and none of my big stuff, I think was actually a good idea. It just didn't end up working out for him.
Welcome to our primer episode before we get to the episode of Warhammer at some point in the future.
We may just break this whole section off and make it a...
Hold on to it. I like it. I like it being here because most of our what have we been doings are pretty short, so I think it's fine.
Yeah, sorry, Jody. We ended up pulling it and then creating a new episode out of it. So, what can you do? I mean, that was your past and currently is my present, which will eventually be my past when y'all are hearing this in the present. I need to stop time traveling. I'm not a doctor. Anyway, so yeah, that was our little presentation on Warhammer, and we just want to know what y'all think about the game, us playing it. Do you want us to explore the topic a little bit more in future episodes? We really want to hear from you. So again, if you want to get in touch with us, travelersontheomnibus@gmail.com. Again, that is Travelers on the Omnibus with 1 L in Travelers @gmail.com. In addition, there will be a poll and question for this bonus episode. So if you want to engage with us there, please do so on Spotify. And again, if you're listening to this and you enjoyed this and you want to present it to other people, we are currently on Spotify, Apple, Google. I almost said Gamma. I'm losing my mind. And Amazon. So there you go. It's our saga. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for riding with us just a little bit, hanging out with us on the rest stop, just kind of get us on our way to the next episode. So from here at the studios, my name's James McCarthy. We've been Travelers on the Omnibus. Thanks for stopping by and enjoying the ride, guys. Bye-bye.